Hey, what up YouTubers and retro players? Welcome back to Dennis Fleaman's YouTube channel. It's Kingsday and it's a sad Kingsday because there's no flea market. Behind me is a place where usually is the biggest flea market in my area, but it's totally empty today. So I decided to cheer you guys and myself a little bit up with a top 5 pickups. In this top 5 there are pickups that I made on Kingsday, on flea markets and in thrift stores and in game stores in general that were absolutely insane. So I hope you guys enjoy it and see you next year, I guess. On position number 5 we find 5 Nintendo 64 prototypes. That's right, 5. And I got these from a game store slash action figure slash comic store that was located in Groningen City. It's not around anymore, sadly. The store was called Vision Toys. And the owner asked 25 euros each for these Nintendo 64 prototypes. And I haggled them down to 100 euros. And I was absolutely excited with this find. It's years ago. The store doesn't exist anymore. It's still online. visiontoys.nl. So check that out if you're interested in action figures. I'm very happy with this pickup. And it's on my number 5 spot. On position number 4, we got Excitebike and The Legend of Zelda, 2 NES games. Now I hear you guys thinking, Dennis, these games are very common. What's special about them? Well, you can see it here, and now you can see it even better. These games are signed by the man, Miyamoto himself. Now I hear you guys thinking again, Fleaman, there's no way to authenticate these autographs. Everybody can make these. Well, I have to disagree, because when I bought these in the same game store, once again, as where I got the N64 prototypes, I got a piece of paper with it. In Dutch it says, hierbij verklaar ik dat de Miyamoto handtekeningen authentiek zijn. Jurjen. Translating that to a story real quick, Jurjen is a Dutch video game journalist, and he's authenticating them. He got these from a trip, and he sold them to the store. And guess where the number 5 spot, the 5 N64 games came from? They came from Jurjen. He reviewed games, got these review cards, prototypes, and after that he sold them or gave them to Vision Choice. So, there you go. Miyamoto games. And it doesn't even matter if you think they're real or not. They're absolutely real, because I talked to Jurjen later on a convention and he told me once again that they're real, and he got them from, I believe if my memory is correct, he got them from a UK trip. So yeah, there you go. On the number 4 spot for 25 each, Excitebike and The Legend of Zelda, signed by Miyamoto. On position number 3, we find Turok 2. Not the retail game that I have here, but this great cartridge. This Turok 2 demo only, not for resale. That's actually a prototype, because it's very different from the retail version. And I saw this in a store that was a combination of a game store and a thrift store. You know, those shady stores. And I saw this in the cabinet, and I was like, oh man, that I have to have that. So I walked up to the counter, and the lady behind the counter was, sorry for my French, she was a bitch. So I asked her, like, oh, I saw a game, Turok 2 demo, I'm interested in that, I would like to buy that. And she almost laughed at me. She was like, yeah, we got that garbage. We also got a lot of PlayStation 1 demos. You like demos? And I was like, why? Why should you do that? I mean, come on, I'm a customer. But anyway, she was like, oh, you really want the demo? Well, 20 euros and you can have it. And I was like, okay, here you have 20 euros. And she was like, what a sucker. But I had the last laugh. I already owned this game, but then I had 2 copies and I sold it for around 350 euros later on, because I don't need 2 copies. So I had the last laugh. On position number 3 of insane pickups by the Fleaman, Turok 2 demo only for 20 euros. on position number 2 of Insane Pickups by the Fleaman, we got Starring Competition, not for resale. This is a very rare game, goes for hundreds of euros, and I got it from the game store Play It. They have stores in Stadskanaal, Emmen, and Hogeveen, I believe. And I got it for, the sticker's still on here, check it out. Yeah, €5. Super Nintendo, second hand. I almost shit myself when I saw this in the store. I was checking out some games and I was like, Star Ring? And they actually had a couple of Star Rings, cards only, and they were all like €5 because he probably couldn't get rid of them. But I was like, this Star Wars competition, not for resale. Game shop Play It, €5. And I paid it in a heartbeat, and I just ran out of the store. I was like, let's get out of here. That was one of my most insane pickups. Now, before you run to Game Store Play It and want to check out their inventory, this was years ago, and I've been collecting since 1999, so this was in the early 2000s, I guess. It's been years. So, and since then, Evil Genie, Kwaad Genie, and some other people are helping out the game stores. And nowadays, game stores are checking everything on eBay, but sometimes they're slipping. And when you see them slipping, it's time to catch them. No, let them fall like crazy and get these games for €5. Now it's time for number 1. I don't even know if that was a commercial for Game Shop Player or not. Well, on to number 1. Drum roll, please, for the number 1 position. Oh, you can already see the games. Complete in box CIB NES games for €1 each. Yeah, and there were a lot more. I picked those 2 out, but there were a lot more NES games on the Kingsday flea market. And I walked up to the lady with her young son, and I was like, "What do you want for these NES games or Nintendo games, lady?" And she was like, "I'm selling them all for €1 each." And I was like, "All right, keep the change." I actually did that. I remember that. It was like, I was paying with a €10 or €20 bill yet, and I was like, keep the change. And back then, this was the early days of the internet, and collecting for the NES was completely different back then. So I didn't even know how rare Rutland was back then. I only found out later, but I was all eyes on Mega Man 4. I haven't played this game. I didn't own this as a kid. And I was like, €1, and I was completely happy. But it was a completely different world back then. And maybe an interesting topic for another video, telling about the early days of NES collecting and how everything has changed and how the hobby has actually been raped. But let's not end on a sad note here. €1 NES games on the Kingsday flea market. These were the top 5 most insane pickups by me, the Fleaman, on Kingsday flea markets, in thrift stores, and in game stores in general. Let me know what you think is my best pickup ever. And I hope to see you guys soon in another video, hopefully on a flea market when all of this is over, but I think that's gonna take a while. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and all that stuff, and see you guys soon. Bye bye.